Content creation is a lot harder than a real job. Or is a real job a lot harder than content creation? Throughout my career so far, I've had the opportunity to manage creators, work alongside with creators. Let's find out which one is actually harder. I'm gonna be putting myself through one full day of content creation, which involves streaming, creating content for YouTube, editing, and just everything a creator needs to do in order to succeed. I'll also be doing one full day of a real job, which includes physical labor and an office job. So let's start off with the full day of content creation.
On Twitch, lately, there's been people that have been playing basketball. It made me wonder, could I actually kick their ass one-on-one? That's a YouTuber or streamer basketball creator.
In order to find out what a content creator's day looks like, I wanted to get some inspiration. So I looked at one of the creators that I look up to, which is Miskiv. In the past, he posted a video talking about what his daily routine looks like. So I wanted to use that as an inspiration in terms of what to do for my live stream.
And in this case, we're doing a tier list. NMP, easy dub. I'm sorry. We played to 100. It's over. 100 is 0. Easy. Christopher London. I'm honestly not as confident that I could beat him. This would pretty much be the what would happen with me. Recently, it's been a minute. Like I said, one of the reasons I hate make it take it is because once you get high, it's pretty much GG. It doesn't matter what you do. He owed 0-11 me, and I'm like, bro, I can't. This is so bad. After that, I'm like, all right, I need to lock in. I heard that Taiwan audio was like, you gotta lock in. It was tough. I like this shot, man. His jump shot is just so bad. Okay, so the reason why Lonzo's on here is because a while back, I don't know how long ago, 5 months ago, Lonzo streamed 2K, apparently. That makes him a streamer. So that's why he's on this list. Make him bottom tier. Make who? Lonzo? You want me to put Lonzo? Hell nah, bro. Oh no, that would be so bad. If he still shot like this, fuck it, I might have still had a chance. I'm being a slightly delulu, but I think I would have had a chance. This is my end of my tier list. I don't think it's that bad.
He did mention in one of his videos that you want to be in just chatting for as long as possible. And I do think that is the right play. I will be reacting, creating a tier list, and just chatting for the first half of my stream. And then we'll pivot into gaming to just basically see if we can actually create gaming content for that. I'm gonna be doing my best to take that stream and turning it into YouTube content. See how long it takes me to go through the process of actually editing, creating content to post onto other social media platforms.
I haven't played Valo in forever. So I did my best to get some gaming highlights, but turns out I'm not Masayoshi, and these were the best highlights that I had. Please don't be that hard on me. Damn.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Oh, so close.
Nice try, dude.
I got him.
Spike down A.
No. Show off your Viper key too. Where is it? Oh, it's actually right here.
I'll take care of the rest.
It's just like in game. I got it. Fuck you. I win. And do I play it because I'm toxic? No, I am not toxic. I play Viper because Viper's hot. Imagine they use like, have you seen like that one anime gun? You know which one I'm talking about? Imagine it was those. It's this one. That gun makes me laugh. So today's the next day. We finished streaming yesterday, and honestly, I don't know if it's a me thing, but trying to stream for a really long time is a little bit hard. I'm not gonna lie. Once we came to the second half of actually, playing the video games, I will play Valorant. Valorant, if you were a small streamer, is very hard to grow, and I'm not that talkative. For future changes, I don't know whether I would play Valorant. I do want to try different type of story games, but
Based on this information alone, I think I ended up streaming for about 4 hours, which isn't bad. I still need to go back and review the VOD and see what can actually be used for YouTube content, what can be used for short form content, because we did enough, theoretically, within the time that we were live, we should have had enough content to upload for YouTube or upload as a short. All right, so I think I just finished editing the video. So the video itself took about 6 to 7 hours to edit, plus the stream, which ended up being around 3 to 4 hours. So in total, it's like 9 to 10 hours time spent on content. I did my best to keep this YouTube video as a way a Twitch streamer would upload to YouTube. Trying to trim that down was a challenge in of itself, but I think we did a pretty good job. As far as like some quick thoughts in terms of this workload, it was a little bit mentally draining in the sense that if you don't take into consideration the time you actually had to spend planning your stream and getting things ready, you're streaming from 3 to 4 hours plus the editing for long form and short form content, getting that ready to be posted onto social media. You end up typically working around, like, if you actually end up doing it yourself, about 9 to 10, sometimes even 12 hours a day. If you're working a full-time job or you're streaming part-time, doing content creation full-time, it takes up a lot of your day. Things just keep going. Like, I still have to design the thumbnail, so I'm still not done with YouTube. So we're gonna work on that thumbnail. Video's pretty much done. It should be going live tomorrow. It's been 1 full day since I streamed. So the turnaround time to upload to YouTube for me, unfortunately, isn't the next day within the 24 hours. So we'll try to see how many times we can keep that schedule. And I'll see you guys once I'm done with the thumbnail.
Meanwhile,
Right now, we're on our way to go work physical labor, some good old classic construction, and then later, an office job. Wish me luck.
All right, so we're here, we're early, helping out my dad with a project. We are pretty much doing the finish trim and the paint. And that requires masking, prep work, more prep work. It's all prep work, man. The actual painting goes by quick. That Mexican in you wake up early, like 6:37 in the morning, come to work. But yeah, we're just gonna get started.
Okay. So I just want to give my thoughts because it's been a while since I worked construction, and it really just honestly, I don't know how to put it, man. But honestly, I just want to give my gratitude that thankfully I don't have to do that every day. I'm thankful. Shout out to my father, man. Like right now, sure, I'm tired. And the older you get, the tougher it becomes to do that kind of job and workload on a consistent basis. Yet they do it, man. Physically, construction is hard. But, growing up, watching my dad work really hard in what he does, getting the opportunity to go to college, getting a degree and getting an MBA at that, and then going straight into trying to achieve my goals, working for creators basically as soon as I graduated college, and just being in the space, in a way kind of being allowed to chase my dreams, not having to do construction every single day, because there are days where it was tough because it's not a 9 to 5. It's a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. type job, and that's not including the drive back. Summers, there's more daylight, odds are you're going to be out there a lot longer. That gets exhausting. Heavy lifting, direct sunlight. That's a tough job. Office work, it's way lighter. It really is. That's just where I'm at, man. Tomorrow, we got more content that we got to record. We got a lot of stuff that we want to work on and just continue to move forward. So I'm going to be walking you guys through the process of an office job day In terms of office work, there's a couple things that we have to do. We have to do some bookkeeping. We have to make sure that some business expenses are up to date because we are in May. And May, that means there's been 4 months that we have to actually bring in and update. If you do those on a monthly basis, it's a lot better for you. If you are a creator, make sure you update your bookkeeping. I know we get lazy sometimes and we leave it till like the end of the year or leave it to the accountant. It's always good to have that type of stuff up to date. But if you can update that at least like once a month, it's gonna save you a massive headache if you, instead of waiting until the end of the year. Tax season just barely ended not that long ago. We're in May, so we have to go ahead and do that. We have to update our Excel sheets to reflect our actual expenses. I went ahead and created a template to actually help me throughout the process. It's a lot easier, but we still have to go ahead and do that. We also have to design, a client reached out to me and we have to create a couple designs for their documents and brochures and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I don't know if I can show you the designs, but I can show you the process. You know, comparing this already to the physical labor that we were doing prior, this is a lot easier, man. I prefer to do this. So we're gonna go get those two things done. That should pretty much be today's day. Once we're done, I'll just send them over and make sure everything's up to date. So let's go ahead and do that. And just to show you a quick demonstration on how my template works, if you have a business credit card and everything gets tracked through that, you import your statements into this template and basically it calculates everything for you. So if you have ad revenue, affiliate links, any form of commission or revenue, it'll automatically calculate how much you made throughout the year. And if we look at the expenses tracker, this is where you import your banking statements. And basically it just tracks everything from how much you spent for the month or the year by category. The reason why I created this is because I used to have QuickBooks and I hated the hell out of QuickBooks. Way too expensive. So I'm like, wait, I have a degree in finance. Why don't I just create a template, an Excel template? So I did this. I don't have to pay their annual fee because it's stupid to pay that amount. So I created my own version. So just to give you an example, so let's do 2025 because we're in 2025 right now. Let's say that you pay for Artlist, right? Because it's a subscription-based service. You put that in there and then you put in which category it falls under. Most of the time, it's going to fall under subscriptions and web services. So it automatically tracks it on how much you spent within the month of April. In this case, it's $15. If you do it by category, it's $15 right there as well. It's just an easy way. You just import it from your banking statements and you can find out how much you actually spent. It also tracks it by company. So if you, for some reason, want to know how much you spent to a specific company, you can figure that out too. As I finish up doing some company financials for some clients and as well as my own company, everything is looking good, which is great. My Excel sheet still works, which is amazing. We're going to be moving on to creating designs for another client to make sure that they are happy with my quality of work. So let's get to that.
All right. So just to give you a quick little sneak peek in terms of what I'm working on, let me show you what I made because I think I did an amazing job taking what they sent me and, you know, they just said, do your best. We just want it to look visually great. And I think I did an amazing job with that. So this is what I made for the first one we made.
So unfortunately we had some problems with the footage, but don't you worry. I'm replacing it with a speed up version of me creating the thumbnail. So yeah.
Note this across more efficiently. All right, so it's the next day. I finished editing the video and I created the thumbnail. This is the thumbnail. I'm gonna show you real quick. I think overall it really matches that YouTube vibe. It took about 35 to 40 minutes to create something that would look like it would be on YouTube, like an actual YouTube thumbnail. But if you take that, plus the time it took to edit, plus the time it took to actually stream, then that's already putting you around 10-ish, 11 hours in already, plus the half hour to actually edit the thumbnail, that you're looking at around 11, 12 hours ish, which is more than a 9 to 5. All right, so if we compare the content creator's job versus a real job, both jobs can be difficult. Each one has their own like pros and cons. If you're a full-time content creator, so I'm saying like either part-time streamer, but you're a full-time creator, or you're just exclusively making YouTube content, it's how long it takes you to create the piece of content. For streaming, this one took 4 hours, for example, right? Then you have to edit the content yourself. If you have a team, it makes it easier for you to actually do your job better. But say that you don't. I did not have help, so I had to edit the video, and that took between 6 to 8 hours. And then I had to create the thumbnail as well, which took another half hour. So right there, that's already like a 10 to 12 hour day. So if you are creating content every single day, that's what your workload is going to look like. If they take a day off, or they take an extended amount of time off, right? They feel like they're going to lose relevancy or momentum. In content creation, it's constantly changing. There's a lot of volatility, and not having that certainty that you're going to be making X amount of money per month can make it difficult. Sure, you can do content creation full time, but all these little things start adding up. Okay, so you make enough money to hire an editor. Well, now you got to make sure you can afford your editor, so you have to make X amount of money. The approach is way different, and you're basically, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you're basically constantly thinking about content. Mentally, I think being a content creator is more taxing versus a real job. Their 9 to 5 isn't a 9 to 5. It's from, we want this content to look great, so we're willing to put in the hours. We have to plan, we have to edit, we have to do this. And if you have a team, all of that gets easier. But if you have a team, you have to be able to afford that. Which one is harder? Depends on how you see it. If you're working physical labor, obviously that's going to be physically demanding, right? If you're working an office job, it's going to be a little bit more mentally taxing, because depending on the type of job you do, it may require different things. I have a finance degree. I've worked in the finance department before. I've worked in bookkeeping and financial analysis. When I did that, it was mentally exhausting, because you're looking at reports pretty much nonstop. You're looking at Excel, you're looking at QuickBooks, you're looking at all these numbers, and you're trying to figure out what is going on and trying to make sure it makes sense to when you report it to your manager, you're reporting it to your higher ups or your boss or your, whoever you're reporting to. You want to make sure that it makes sense. But the benefit is that that's from 9 to 5. As soon as it hits 5, you're pretty much done for the day. You can relax, and if you want to go golfing, you can go golfing. Physical labor is a little bit different from my experience, because if you grew up Mexican, maybe you can relate. It's not from 9 to 5. Sometimes you start at 6, 7 in the morning and until the sun goes down, man. And some days are going to be shorter than others. It really just depends. It's like until we get the job done, or until we felt we've made enough progress for the day. And just to give you some personal examples from my my life, because I've worked it all, man. I worked in office jobs, I worked in physical labor before, and I've been working in the content creation space for the last 5 years and trying to do my own content. And I've been trying to do it at the same time as the others. So trying to balance both. Like if you are trying to grow as a content creator and you have a full-time job, it's very, very difficult to find the time to actually do all of this. But if I'm being completely honest, so say that you worked a 9 to 5, right? Which I did. You come home and sometimes you are exhausted. I got home, I ate, man, I was just exhausted. I didn't want to boot up my PC. I didn't want to create content at times. But because I wanted to become a content creator, it's like those hours that you work from like 5 to 9 are massive, because you're trying to reach your goal. So there are times when you don't want to do it. But you also realize that if you don't do it, you start falling behind because of the amount of hours it actually requires to produce a fully edited YouTube video. And like this video that I edited wasn't my best work, if I'm being completely honest, but it was what you have to do to have those quick turnaround times to YouTube. It took me a full day to edit the video and create the thumbnail after I was done streaming. Of course, the time that you stream, the time of day changes things a bit, and the type of content that you do will also change. But if you're trying to make higher quality content for YouTube, especially if you are a small to mid-sized creator, you want to provide enough value in terms of the quality of content, not necessarily the quality of edit, but the quality of content. It's gonna take a little bit more time to actually get all of that edited and done. Now, doing this experiment of trying to do full-time creating, like I said, there's a lot of things you have to balance out. Obviously, if I had a team, it'd be a lot easier. But if you have a team, you have to be able to afford that team. At the end of the day, each job has its pros and cons. Each job has its own things that make it difficult. Obviously, physical labor is physically demanding. If you're like in an office job that's in like a management, or you're looking at spreadsheets and like people rely on you to be accurate, mentally that's gonna be draining. But in content creation, man, you are doing it all yourself. Here's another thing, that when you work a real job versus content creation, with content creation, you don't know how long your career is going to be, man. You could have a successful 7 to 8 year career, but eventually if you get burnt out, or the content you make is no longer relevant, you're seeing those numbers dip, you're gonna have to go back to the real job, compared to someone who's worked a real job from the very beginning, right? You have a 40-year career working in the real job, right? Whether you get promoted, you're basically working 40 years towards your retirement. Content creators they're gambling, man. At the end of the day, it's kind of like gambling. They're hoping to make a certain amount of income so that they can provide for themselves, not just for the moment, but also for their future. Because the moment that their career is done, they're gonna have to figure out, okay, where do I make money now? Because sponsorships and brand deals, they're pretty much gone. Did you sell merch? Well, hopefully your brand stays relevant. You build a successful brand to continue to make money off of that. Did you build some form of product or service? Like, those are the type of moves that you'll eventually have to start thinking, and not towards the end of your career, but during the middle. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Hopefully it shows you like, it's really not as black and white as like, oh, work a real job, it's a lot harder than content creation. Both have their own things that make it difficult. Comment down below which one do you think is harder, or your experiences in terms of content creation or working a real job. Could you see yourself working a full-time content creator's job if you work a real job? Or if you're in content creation, if you did a real job, what would you do, right? So comment down below. This is the end of this video. If you like this video, hit a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.